Etsy News, your place for all the week's roundup of the Etsy News. And this is going to be my last Etsy News for the week. Stupidly, I thought this was going to be a quiet one, but a lot has happened and you probably want to hear about it. So let's dive straight in, and we will start with the very big one that's blowing up everywhere. Merry Christmas, Etsy staff. I want to explain what's happening here and then maybe go into this a little bit more. So the first headline, I think this was Wednesday this came out. Etsy to cut 11% of staff as the CEO says the company is on an unsustainable trajectory. On Wednesday, Etsy Josh Silverman, the Etsy CEO, went on a live stream to the Etsy staff and basically said, yeah, we're letting 11% of people go. We've not been told everybody who's been let go, obviously, but we did hear that Etsy's Chief Marketing Officer, Ryan Scott, will be going, and the role has been consolidated under the Chief Operating Officer role. So marketing officer, it's not just they're getting rid of Ryan, they're getting rid of the role and doubling up for somebody else. And the Chief Human Resources Officer is also leaving, being replaced by their current Vice President of Global People and Talent Strategy. So it's not just the little guys that are going. Hopefully, well, I was going to say, hopefully this doesn't mean that they're getting rid of loads of the Etsy help staff, but the support staff. But if anyone's tried to contact them in the recent year or two, no offense to the Etsy health staff, but you get an AI to start with, and depends. You can ask the same question to 3 different chats, and you'll get 3 different answers. So yeah, but there's a couple of things here. First of all, I will say, I don't have a high opinion of any company that lays off staff just before Christmas. I get, yeah, things can't be helped in companies and business. It's difficult, and I do get a lot of companies are pinning their everything on Black Friday, basically. That's when companies are supposed to start, that's the day that retail is supposed to become profitable and everything. So a bad Christmas season makes it difficult for the company. However, for staff who had no idea this kind of thing's coming, and Etsy isn't the only one. I think Hasbro, the toy maker, just announced at the same time, and other companies are struggling. We get that. But the Etsy staff have no idea this is coming. So anybody who's in full-time employment and probably has been employed for many years, on the run up to Christmas, everybody spends a little bit. A lot of people go into debt. Not everybody goes into debt, but you might be sort of spending at your limit. And a lot of people struggle through January till that January paycheck. So basically to be told, nah, that's not happening, and Etsy saying, it's okay, we'll keep paying most of them up till the 2nd of January. People have spent their money. Unfortunately, even people who are really good with money and plan ahead and everything, yeah, they've bought their gifts. A lot of the food's already ordered in and everything. You've spent with the idea that you have a paycheck. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But the whole, did we know this was coming? Did Etsy know this was coming? Excuse me. So Etsy predicts, most companies predict what each quarter is going to be like. And while releasing this, they also updated their 4th quarter guidance, saying what the EBITDA, which is earnings before tax and all that, they'd predicted it was going to be 26 to 27%, and they adjusted upwards to say it was going to be more. So they've done better than they predicted. It's flat. There's no denying, as we talked about in the review of the quarter 3 financials, sales have been a bit flat. Excuse me. Gross merchandise sales have been flat, although Etsy revenue has gone up a bit because they're making more money off of sellers. So there's less money to go around for sellers. Well, same amount of money for more sellers, and they're taking more money off the sellers that are there. I'll probably let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to get too annoyed at this anyway. But one thing, a lot of the news report led with Etsy stocks crash, and this so annoys me. Let me show you. They said Etsy stocks crash. Now, if you look at the chart on the left, this was on Wednesday, showing the stock prices, and it does it as the news was announced. There was a drop, but if we just go back, you can zoom out, and I just went back to last month, and you can see that massive crash is within the normal variations. Yes, there was a change due to market, but it's not like it's fallen off a cliff. And I've looked again today. I didn't put it up, but yeah, it's been trugging around at that dropped level. But that dropped level is higher than what Etsy shares were on the 8th of December. So has it crashed? No, not really. This is what happens. Some people freak out a little bit, sell some stocks and things, the prices drop, but it's not dropped a massive amount. It's not down as much as it's been down in the past couple of years. So I wouldn't worry about that. That's just fear-mongering. Right, and here's the other very big one. This is an Amazon story, but this applies to anybody who's selling online. So triple check the IP issues on anything. So this was a woman who sold Luke Combs themed tumblers owes $250,000. Okay, I'll do it in the order that we all probably heard about it. This woman who's very ill, and she has loads of medical sorry, my voice does sarcasm. She is very ill. She has congestive heart failure, and her only job is selling homemade tumblers and t-shirts through Amazon. She loves this country fan, I hadn't heard of it, country singer called Luke Combs. After she went to his concert, she decided to start selling the Luke Combs themed tumblers. I've seen pictures of these. They have his image over him and say Luke Combs and stuff. She sold 18 tumblers for $20 each for a total of $380. And she has been sued for $250,000. Now, more in depth of this, what happened was she was subpoena, I don't know the word in your country, but she was sent an email to attend court and fight for this, but the email went to the spam folder. That is a really ridiculous thing that can happen. So the court case went through without her being there, and I believe the first she heard of this was when Amazon was withholding her funds, because the idea is they're not stopping her selling on Amazon, but I think they call this like garnering your wages. Basically, the court saying, I need the money off this person. Amazon, everything she makes, we'll be having that now. So the first she heard, and then she went all on the internet, well, all on regular media. This story was pulled up, and yes, everybody was like, this is awful. She sold 18 tumblers and she's getting sold for this. The punishment doesn't fit the crime, and that is true. I'm not going to deny $250,000 is a lot. It is definitely a bit too much. And then the next day, Luke Combs answered this. He saw all the press about it, and he mentioned that he has a company that looks into IP issues for him, and this is going to be the same for most people. And not only that, he's a singer. His image and everything is more likely sort of license the record company own him. He's sold his soul. So yeah, so he personally isn't likely to have been aware of this. There's a company in the background, the team of lawyers who deal with all of this. He won't get all the tiny steps of it. But he did say, yes, he wants to be chasing down the big companies that are making a fortune. This seems a bit too much. He is offering to help the woman. The money that was withheld in Amazon, he's paying her double so she's got a bit of money behind her. And the other thing, she was selling tumblers. He's put up on his website now, his team are making and selling tumblers, and the money's going to her. So, worrying, heartwarming story, but there is more to it than that. Now, I've looked and I can't find her store, but on some of the TV, the media outlets where you're seeing her, she shows some of her other work. And a lot of people have also said this as well when they found her Amazon store. It's full of copyright issues. She has like Disney stuff, she has other celebrities and things. So, and this isn't a little person selling on eBay. She's a little person and whatever else, but this is a business. Because as well as everything in her store being kind of illegal, um, Amazon is withholding $5,500. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but when I researched and looked into this, the amount of time that Amazon holds once you make a sale, Amazon holds your money, and it seems to be on average between 5 and 14 days. So if we go by the longest thing, in half a month, she's made $5,500 selling IP violating items. Allegedly, I haven't found her store yet. But so if that's the case, she was kind of lucky she was only hit by this Luke Combs guy. If she's selling Disney stuff and things, and it totally shows you, like, whether or not he wanted to go after someone like this went to court. There was a lot of other companies involved in this court case as well, and it was decided that everybody owed this $250,000 each. So the legal thing, when it went to court, that was the amount decided is the right amount because she is doing a wrong thing. So whether we agree with it or not, yeah, just selling $380 worth of merch that you don't have permission to sell, that's the amount. And I sort of do get the Luke Combs isn't saying, oh, she can go on and keep on selling. He's saying he's going to sit like, it's basically, you stop what you're doing, you stop doing the illegal thing. I've seen there's a market for tumblers. I'll keep selling them on your behalf for ones that we've made, that we have the right to, all the rest of it. But there's another thing here. Now, again, I couldn't find, this is just a quick news video. This isn't an in-depth thing, but I did check. People are mentioning that now this is opening a whole can of worms for him, because he's saying he didn't want to go after the little guys. This was only for big companies. And some people are saying there is talk from some Etsy sellers who got into trouble, IP violations, got items, Luke Combs type items taken down from Etsy. Yes, they weren't sued this massive amount of money, but they got in trouble for it. So now they're going after him and saying, yeah, we want our business back because you've said this is okay. And this is the problem. If people don't protect their intellectual property, they can lose it. He might lose. I don't think he will. He's obviously got a very good legal team, but he might lose the right to keep his trademark there because it's now not necessarily associated with his brand, because we now know other people are doing fan art. We'll see how this plays out. Was it too much? Absolutely. But triple check your IP issues. Now, something that I am researching properly, I'm not going to cover it in this thing, but you've probably all heard Mickey Mouse is coming out of copyright, or rather the version of Steamboat the first version, Steamboat Willie, and a lot of people are getting excited. I am going to say, at the minute in time, I'm going to advise, do what you want. I don't think it's a very good idea to jump on that bandwagon as soon as it opens up, because it's only copyright. I have a feeling Disney is still going to be protecting what is its. And yeah, and it's going to go after people hard at the beginning of the year, because it doesn't want to lose its trademark. Copyright, trademark, two different things. So unless you are an expert in trademark, I wouldn't be touching Steamboat Willie. That's just my little aside. We'll go into this more in the new year. Right. Talking about IP things, this was a funny one, just to say it's not just the little guys that get hit with IP things. We'll see how this goes. If you haven't heard of Mr. Beast, he's like the biggest YouTuber on YouTube. And he's got a few little brands out there selling things, and one of them is his Feastables company, which he sells things, mainly chocolate bars, which have blown up massively. I can get them in my local Asda in Scotland from an influencer in America. It's crazy. And I had, okay, it's not the best chocolate in the world, but I've heard some horror stories about American chocolate, and I'm not dissing because UK chocolate's awful too. But I had one that has quinoa in it. I've never had chocolate with quinoa. It was very nice. Anyway, but his nutty chocolate, he has named D's Nuts. It's a meme or whatever else. But there is a company that sells D's Nuts. And yeah, there could be brand confusion there. So someone is going after Mr. Beast in a lawsuit. He will probably win, but not guaranteed. So yeah, it's not just the little guys. There's a new scam going about. Yeah, this has to be mentioned. I hope this doesn't get lost in all the other big things. People are talking about they're getting sales from the same customer, but to multiple locations. And then once they've sent everything out, things are happening. People are basically, refunds are happening. And what is likely to have happened, this could be some of the people that they've hacked in the earlier scamming steps. They've hacked the accounts of people and make a lot of purchases on the card on that account. And then they change the card and ask for refunds to be sent to the new card. Now, this is likely to cost Etsy way more money than sellers, but it's still. If this is a thing, like if I buy something in a supermarket or a shop and I use my card, if I want a refund, they have to refund onto the card that I purchased with. But it seems on Etsy you can change the card. So this has been a loophole for scammers. So hopefully Etsy get this nailed down. We know they don't have the free money to be giving away. Anyway, yeah, that's just beware of this. If you're seeing something that looks dodgy, just hold fire. It is possible people are buying for friends and getting it all sent out. That could be a legitimate thing, but just beware. Oh, this is funny-ish. Don't ask me what I was searching for. It will come up in the next thing. It's not really an Etsy thing. It is an Etsy thing. This was my Google search when I was searching for a certain subject that we'll see in a minute. But on the Google results page, if you search for flower hats Etsy, it'll show you a link to the marketplace, the Etsy search results page. Basically, it says it's the marketplace. So check out our selection for the best in this. So I ended up with, check out our child trafficking selection. Oh boy. Anyway, so when you click on them, it does say, oops, there's no such page. So that's good. It seems that Etsy is blocking child sex trafficking, but yeah, possibly look at what is generated on Google. I don't know if it's easy to do that, but my search history is going to be interesting. So this was because of a conspiracy theory. Just because people found some bizarre Etsy listings and they went into conspiracy theories, and that is all it is. It was a Twitter conspiracy, and it sounds like this is a thing that went around a couple of years ago on Wayfair. People thinking this was a thing, and then obviously they're still all up in arms. People look for conspiracies everywhere. I'm sure we've all got sucked into some of these. So, a number of listings on Etsy featuring a high price tag for photos featuring children have sparked a conspiracy theory that human traffickers have been using Etsy to facilitate their crimes. People shared photos on Twitter showing images of a child smiling as they held a pizza. Um, They held price tags of $4,000 each. Another showed a picture of two whole pizzas at a cost of $9,000, and up to $35,000. All the listings have gone down. There's no evidence that Etsy was involved in anything. Obviously, they're not. It could be something nefarious, but this is just a conspiracy theory, and chances are a lot of shops, well, not a lot, but some shops will put up a listing at a ridiculous price. They never expect to sell that listing, but you can filter by highest price. So if you've got the highest priced up there, you'll get spotted. And when people see it, a child in a knitted costume for $35,000, they share it. They go, this is ridiculous. And people will look at it and go, it's not worth it. Look into the rest of the shop and go, oh, but this one that looks the same is only $200. And it's a kind of crazy marketing thing. And I don't know anything about these listings. So yeah, in general, it's a thing to get people to share, to go, oh, for goodness sake, what's that? Unlikely they're trafficking children. It is against Etsy's policy to sell children. So yeah, I don't think this was a thing, but people are sharing it and worrying about it. If you haven't noticed, by the way, Etsy is again, I think they did this last year. In your shop, you should be seeing a little PDF to give to buyers if their item's is running late or won't get there in time for Christmas. You can give them a wee PDF. I would say I've done this years in the past where I shipped things. I accepted orders up until the last shipping date for Christmas, and of course things run late. And in the past, I've made my own PDFs, and that is totally what I would advise. I made a PDF with a picture of what was coming, saying, this is coming to you. And my shop name, not go to Etsy. So do something branded for yourself. It can be a nice thing. It is just literally your buyers purchased something and it's not going to get there on time. And that's another thing. If your processing and shipping time is out now, obviously it's probably not going to get there in time. You have a few choices, but if you're keeping your shop open and everything, one thing to do is, I know it's a lot of work, but at this moment in time, it makes the most sense to message your customer and say, I see you've bought something with shipping and everything. I can't guarantee it will be here for Christmas. If that was an important thing for you, please let me know. If you want, can cancel the order, or I'll ship it and it'll hopefully arrive sometime after Christmas. And you can even offer, if you would like, I've got this PDF, so your loved one has something to open. And most people will get back to you and be like, that's okay, it's fine, it's not for Christmas or whatever else, but saves the negative reviews. And we have another one. Now, my friend Starla Moore knows more about this one, so I'd go over there. But a top seller on Etsy, they have a top, it's a pet supplies type shop, was suspended, closed by mistake. You'll see they cover it in YouTube videos. It's an absolutely stupid one. They had a very, very old shop that they shut down, and there was some fees on it that they hadn't noticed. So this has probably been sitting there for quite some time. Etsy shut them down for non-payment of fees, and that rippled out to every shop they own. But they shut down a top seller on the lead up to Christmas. So they've killed his Christmas sales, basically, for something that is probably years old. So I know a lot of people got behind him, shouted on Twitter and all the other places saying, Etsy, get on this, will you? So he got his shot back nice and quickly. As you can see, well, it's 4 days ago now because I got that shot yesterday, but 4 days ago he says, I'm suspended. 2 days ago he got his shot back. So good news, a good example of the community all coming together, but also, yeah, Etsy, let the punishment fit the crime and pick your times. You could have messaged him to say, you've got this happening. You Yeah, that should be a simple thing. If all the shops are connected and you can shut them all down, yeah, message them to say this is what's going to happen. Because most people don't do this on purpose. But also pause doing this at the busiest time of the year. There's no hurry. I think it was $7, $3 or $7. It wasn't even double figures. And I think this is my final one. So I hope if you've made it to the end, if you didn't hear earlier in the year, Black Friday, in fact, it's not that much earlier, the marketplace Janecom collapsed. Sellers are waiting for over 10 million. Now this, I don't think Etsy's anywhere close to this, but this is a warning to everybody. What had started happening, the turnover, the income of these marketplaces is partially is the stuff that we're bringing in. So as that marketplace was getting worse and worse, it was taking longer to send the money to people that they'd made. And there's some people sitting waiting on a lot of money from a site that's gone bankrupt. I think we have to be careful and wary. As I say, I don't think Etsy's about to go bust, but there are difficult times ahead. And my worry, my thought in my head was that some of the smaller companies might be a little bit sugary as well. So we'll just watch out. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Always make sure you have other ways to contact your customers. But with that, thank you so much. I do have one more video for you on Tuesday. Oh, that's annoying. Where I'll have a little Christmas present for you all, so don't forget to come back. But apart from that, have a great new year, and I will see you next year.